Hello and welcome to tutorial 7 of the Changing Tides blanket crochet along. I'm Eleonora, the designer behind Coastal Crochet, and all the details about this blanket crochet along can be found over on my blog. The links are in the description below. So this tutorial is to accompany week 14 of our Changing Tides blanket crochet along, and it's for round 75, 76 and 77. And it's to create this gorgeous rippled effect, which looks just like the ripples of the water as the tides come in and out. These are actually made up of 3 rounds, but round 75 is a round of ordinary treble stitches, US double crochet, and round 76 is a round of ordinary double crochet, that's US single crochet stitches. So it's only in round 77 where we start to get these textured raised stitches, and I will show you how to do that. So this raised ripple stitch first starts off with 2 simple rounds. So here we have round 75, which is just ordinary treble stitches, that's US double crochet stitches, and then we have a round 76 of ordinary double crochet stitches, that's US single crochet. So we've just done simple rounds of those stitches, and now it's round 77 where we start to get the raised ripple effect. So we are going to turn the work so that the right side of the work is facing us. So we've turned the work ready to start round 77, and the right side of the blanket is facing us. And we start this round by making 3 chain. 1, 2, 3. And this 3 chain counts as our first treble stitch of this next round, round 77. Remember, I use UK crochet terminology, and a treble is a US double crochet stitch. So if you look at the instructions, it tells us to miss the next stitch. Obviously, because our 3 chain counts as the first treble, this stitch there where the chain is coming out from counts as our first stitch, and we're missing the next stitch. So we don't crochet into the next stitch. What we are doing is a raised double treble front. And that is UK crochet terminology. In the US, it's a front post treble. Completely different. It's always frustrating, the differences between US and UK crochet terminology. But all it means is that we work a double treble stitch, or a US treble, which is where you wrap the yarn around the hook twice, and we are working that around the post of the treble below it from round 75. So this is the stitch we're missing, and this stitch here, the very last stitch of round 75 on that side, is the stitch that we're basically going to be going around. So we insert the hook from the front of the work round to the back, from right to left, round to the front again, and we just work a double treble, US treble stitch as normal. So yarn over hook, pull through to the front, should have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we've now worked our raised double treble front, or front post treble, around the treble stitch below from round 75. And if we look at the instructions, it now tells us to do 1 treble in the next stitch. Remember, we've missed this stitch, so this stitch here we've missed, so it's the next stitch, which is actually the last stitch of the side, that we're just going to be working an ordinary treble US double crochet stitch. So just do an ordinary treble into that final stitch of the side. This is what it will now be looking like. And then it tells us, there's the corner chain space there, you can see, and it tells us to work 2 treble, which is US double crochet, 2 chain, 2 treble, all into the corner chain space, which we've been doing a lot throughout the blanket. So there's my 2 treble, US double crochet, 2 chain, and then 2 more treble, all into that same corner chain space. And now we are ready, we've turned the corner to go along our first side, And if we look at the instructions, it tells us to continue with 1 treble in the next stitch. So that's the first stitch of the side. So 1 treble, US double crochet into that first stitch. And then miss the next stitch. So miss this stitch, we're not crocheting into there, but work our raised double treble front or front post treble around the stitch below. So wrap the yarn around the hook twice. There's the treble stitch that we're going to be working around, and just insert the hook around the post of that treble from front round to the back and then to the front again, and just work the double treble US treble stitch as normal. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. And we've missed obviously that stitch behind it, so there we've crocheted into, this is the stitch we're missing, and then in the next stitch just work 1 treble US double crochet as normal, just an ordinary treble stitch. And then we repeat this all the way to the end of the side. So we miss this stitch, and instead of crocheting into that stitch, we crochet around the treble below it in round 75. So wrap the yarn around the hook twice, miss this stitch, but go around the treble beneath it from round 75. Insert your hook from front to back, round to the front again, so it goes around the post of that treble stitch, and then just work your double treble, US treble as normal. And then we've missed the stitch behind there, there it is, and then just work a treble US double crochet into the next stitch. I'll show you what it should be looking like now. So you can see we are getting these raised double trebles by working into those trebles from round 75, and that is what gives us that ripple effect going all the way along. We just repeat that alternating, so you can see this is a treble stitch where we've gone around, this one we haven't, this one we have, so the next one that we'll be going around is not this one but the next one there, and we just repeat this alternating all the way to the end of the side. So we're doing our raised double treble front next, so wrap the yarn around the hook twice, miss the next stitch, and then crochet around the post of that stitch beneath it, a raised double treble front, US front post treble. So yarn over hook, you'll have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You've missed that stitch behind it, so now we just work an ordinary treble US double crochet into the next stitch, and then you can see what it's beginning to look like. You can see the texture that we're getting and that ripple effect. So carry on all the way to the end. Miss the next stitch, but crochet around the post of the treble stitch beneath it. Double treble, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, miss that stitch, and then just do a treble US double crochet into the next stitch. And repeat that, alternating all the way to the end of the side. So we're nearly at the end of our first side, and you can see that textured ripple effect that we're getting by alternating the raised double treble fronts, the front post trebles, alternating them around the trebles from round 75. So doing the raised double treble front around one of them, not the next, then around the next, not the next, around the next, and that alternating gives us that lovely textured ripple effect. So we're nearly at the end of our first side. I've just worked an ordinary treble US double crochet into that stitch, and so now we're doing our raised double treble front, the front post treble in the US. By missing this stitch, you can see we've done a raised double treble there, so not this one, going around the post of the next stitch. So pull through 2, 2, making sure we keep missing that stitch behind, and then just do an ordinary treble US double crochet into the next stitch. And then we should have one more to do at the end of the side. So we miss this stitch, and then our very final stitch to do a raised double treble front around, front post treble, is the very last treble stitch. So insert your hook around the post of that final stitch and work the double treble US treble stitch as you normally would. Make sure that stitch is missed, and there should be one stitch at the end of the side in which to work an ordinary treble US double crochet. So that is the end of our first side. You can see that lovely rippled texture, and then into the corner chain space we work 2 treble, 2 chain, 2 treble, as we have done in many times during making this blanket. So 2 treble US double crochet, 2 chain, and then 2 treble US double crochet into that same corner chain space. And now we repeat what we've done on this side across the next 3 sides. So it's 1 treble or US double crochet just in that first stitch, the next stitch, and then raised double treble front around the post of that treble stitch from round 75, 2 rounds below, and then obviously we keep that stitch missed, and then an ordinary treble US double crochet into that stitch, and then you can see here we've done a raised double treble, so not around this one, it's around the next one, and you can see the effect that we're now getting. So carry on all the way to the end of this side, and then repeat on the next 2 sides until we get back round to the beginning. So I have gone all the way around on my very last side, and I've just done an ordinary treble US double crochet stitch. There's my last raised double treble front. So we're not doing one round there, we're doing one around the next one. So miss this stitch, and then 1 raised double treble front post treble in the US around that stitch. And then as we've done all the way around, keep that stitch missed and just do an ordinary treble US double crochet in the next stitch. And now you will see we're right at the end, and you can see our raised double treble front post treble stitches there. So we're not going to do one round that one, we're going to do a raised around this one, not that one, and obviously there was our very first one, and we should have 1 stitch remaining there. So to end the round we do our very final raised double treble front, miss this stitch, and then around that stitch there from round 75, work your double treble stitch, and now we should just, that's the stitch we're missing, as you can see there, and now we literally just slip stitch into our starting 3 chain. So just go under both strands, the top chain of that starting 3 chain, and work 1 slip stitch to close the round. And that is it. That's our first round of the ripple stitch, round 77, and this is the end of week 14. We will be carrying on some ripple stitches in week 15, but there'll be a separate tutorial for that, because this, as you can see, is the end of week 14, the end of round 77, and we have these gorgeous ripples going all the way around. So we don't fasten off, we're going to be carrying on with this yarn in week 15, and I hope that you have found this tutorial helpful. Thanks for watching.